Raz. They have a very unique style. It's a double-edged sword, the way they play this game, but it's an interesting way to look at League of Legends.
Well, I mean, their style actually is fantastic for this patch. Now that we're going into standard lanes, on top of that, they love to have the shoves in their lanes, and on top of that, they play around MLXG. And every single time they look for the pushes, they always go for those invades and contest every buff.
They certainly do. We'll have to see if they can play around Malasianko in this match. Their superstar jungler who's been doing so well for the team, ranking top at the MVP tables at the moment, but we are in Champion Select for game number 1 between RNG and IMEI. RNG will be on the blue side, IMEI starting on the red side of Summoner's Rift. Rek'Sai, Jhin, and Sivir will be the 3 bans that come out from RNG, whereas Taliyah, as well as Gangplank and Syndra are the 3 bans from IMEI, and immediately Ashe is being locked in for Uzi.
Very interesting. He does love that champion. If you take away Jhin, if you take away Sivir, those 2 champions are Jin Zhao's major favorites. And the last time if you look towards his champion pool and what he would favor next, is a Kog'Maw.
Yep. Ashe and Kog'Maw are the 2 next most played champions in this split. He's played 5 games of Ashe, 4 games of Kog'Maw.
Yeah, exactly. And the last time they played them last week of the LPL regular season, they went up against his Kog'Maw, and that was the game they did smash him. So it looks like they are really challenging his pool in this one.
They certainly are. He's played 15 games of Jhin and 13 games of Sivir. So RNG really doing their homework, banning out his champions. A Voidless as well in the jungle, 15 games of Rek'Sai, and he hasn't played any other champion in the double digits. Elise is his next most played champion. So it seems like champion pool is a concern coming out for IMEI, but they do get a very powerful pick if they do lock in this Shen, and in fact they hide their jungler for now because they lock in Braum as well.
Yeah, one thing about IMEI is they do like their style, and because of that, you do see a lot of tendencies with their picks. RNG definitely have looked towards that. Great research from them, as you said. So now the question is if they're going to look towards doing something else. The fact that they did pick up Braum and Shen means that they're likely going towards that Kog'Maw pick or anything really that does set up their AD carry. We have a lot of the guys, usually if they do get that protection in that teamfight setting, that does indicate it.
Let's see what they do decide to pick up next. Shen does go really well with Hecarim, so it would make sense if MLXG takes it away for RNG. To take it away from as a key pick for IMEI's team comp. IMEI though, you know, when teams pick up Braum as a first pick, I kind of like to go back to how EDG had made that really popular in the later split of the LPL summer split. It's a very good first pick, supports do very well on champion. Marta's great on Braum, it's his most played champion as well. But when you look at Road, you really wish he was on an initiating spot. You wish he was on his Bard, you wish he was on a Thresh on Alistar, because he's a great playmaker for the team. Going to be really interesting to see how he uses the Braum here today. But Karma and Hecarim are the next 2 lock-ins that come in for RNG.
That's a good point. Honestly, him being on engaged champions, it's a double-edged sword. It's amazing, right? He does really well on it, and you see great things from it. But the fact that if they can't put him on Braum, then that's a problem. If they can't put him on Karma, that's a problem. They're taking away prime picks away from themselves just because they are making up for the rest of the team's inability to be that primary engage.
Still waiting to see what the next 2 picks from IMEI are going to be. He did mention his next champion that he would go to after the Jhin, after the Sivir, after the Ashe is going to be that Kog'Maw. They are setting up a very nice team comp to protect that Kog'Maw, especially with the Shen and the Braum already picked up. And Jin Zhao has shown his proficiency on the champion.
Yeah, but RNG is calling it out. They have a lot of abilities to be able to penetrate that front line, get right into Kog'Maw with that Hecarim, with that Karma. And of course, we did talk of...
Whoa!
Ooh,
hello!
All right, you know, that's another way of taking it. That's another way of breaking that front line and getting to Kog'Maw.
Welcome to the LPL, Singe, because RNG have locked you in. We're going to see Lupa take this champion up into the top lane. Vladimir is also going to be the final pick coming in. Now I'm really excited, Raz.
There are so many times that I watch games of League of Legends, top tier play, and I'm like, man, I really want to go back to the VODs and watch some Samsung play. Literally every time I'm thinking it, you know, there are days when you're like, I'm going to go watch Lord of the Rings, or I'm going to watch this series. And I'm like, yeah, I want to watch some Samsung games. Well, guess what? This is a nice throwback to all of you lovers of that, of the time of League of Legends when we saw Looper playing Singed in that top lane. This is fantastic.
And you know what? This is not last week LPL match that doesn't affect the standings, Raz. This is the first game of the semi-finals, and RNG have come out to play with this Singed pick. Still waiting to see what IMA are going to lock in as their final pick. They did hide their mid lane pick, and it is going to be the Malzahar taking to the mid lane.
But this is beautiful. As I said, the beginning of this pick ban, they orchestrated it. They knew exactly what they would go, what Jin Zhao would go towards. They knew he was going to go towards Kog'Maw, right? So the fact that they were able to go pick for pick, have that engage tool, have the backline threat, and then they go to the very end because they know that you picked up a Shen, right? Shen is not going to be, or at least his laning phase is not very threatening, especially towards AP casters. And so if there is a good lane for Shen, for Singed out there, this is one of them.
And you know, I always look at Kog'Maw and say, can they protect the Kog'Maw? And I look at RNG's team, they've got 3 champions running Ghost and love to run at people. It's going to be really tough to protect this Kog'Maw, Raz. I'm going to be really excited to see how this Singe works and also how I'm going to be protecting Jin Zhao because he's a crucial component of this team comp.
Oh, this is beautiful. This is going to be an explosive first game of just running to that back line, get towards him. A lot of tank line threat. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see how this first match between RNG and IMA go as the first match of this best of 5 series in the second semifinals of tonight. And we're on to Summoner's Rift here, Raz, for game number 1 between RNG as well as IMA. It's the second semi-final match of tonight, and this best of 5 series will decide who heads into the grand finals to face off against EDG. And right away, elephant in the room, Raz, It's going to be Looper. He's picked up Singed in game number 1.
Samsung skin as well, knows exactly who he is. So this is perfect. And the composition, the best thing about 6.15 is that, of course, you're going to be locked into these lanes unless if you're an incredibly creative team and have found a way around it. And Singed, his major issue is that you can never really guarantee standard lanes, on top of the fact that most of his standard lanes are pretty poor, the matchups that he's going into. So now that he knows which matchup he's going into, and he's in a patch in which he can actually know exactly that he's going into the standard lanes, it's fantastic for him. Not a lot of Singed players, not a lot of people that actually enjoy the champion, but for the few out there that do, this is a perfect moment for you.
It certainly will be. This is going to be an exciting game to watch here. RNG taking on IMA in this first match. We already knew it was going to be explosive. IMA have a lot to prove in this game, Raz. They really want to see if they can try and take it to RNG, the champions from the spring split of the LPL, the MSI representatives, and try and fight for the right to go up against EDG, their previous sister team at the grand finals.
But the most beautiful thing about it is you can tell that they practice this a lot. You could tell that this has been put into a few scrims because they do have the karma as well. So the one question is, well, of course, the movement speed. If you end up looking to slow Singed, how's that going to work out? Well, you have a karma and you have Ghost. That's not going to happen.
Meanwhile, already in the bottom lane, we see action take place between the two laners. Jin Zhao and Uzi just trading back and forth. Marta trying to weave in Qs wherever he possibly can. Slightly going in RNG's favor there. A little bit of a botched attempt from Jin Zhao and Road.
Yeah, this is perfect for RNG in the bot lane. We've seen Kog'Maw, Braum. We've seen that lane a lot. It has a lot of trading potential. The moment you get a Q, the moment you tag somebody with Braum, the fact that you can just instantly stun them up with just 4 quick auto attacks off your W and Kog'Maw means a lot. But the problem is RNG is a team that they focus on the wave, not the trade. So they pick this composition, and on top of that, they have the Ashe, which was their first pick priority, that is really good in lanes.
It's great for Uzi as well, because he's dominant in the lane regardless, and knows exactly when to snap up and trade. Synergizes well with Marta as well. It's been great to watch them since they joined together in the bottom lane for RNG at the start of this split, I should say, replacing Ushen, who was their MSI AD carry. And you take a look at the CS score at the moment. Jin Jiao at 4 CS to the 16 of Uzi. He's been pinned down here, but there is an Elise waiting in the wings, looking for a gank. Hackrim nearby as well, working on Scuttle Crab. There's an exhaust, there's a teleport as well. There's a huge fight in the bottom lane going on. First casualty is going to be Road. Gets run over by LMXG. Lupus down here as well, lays down the poison, flings a Voidless back. Marta's going to be able to pick up that kill, and disaster strikes for Aime in the bottom lane.
Yes, disastrous for Aime. The fact that Looper was level 3 for that too, so he had his flip. One big point about the Singed is that the fact that he even has that utility on top of just his Q damage. Ooh, that's beautiful. So on top of that, it was really smart by RNG. They were there for the counter gank. So they were just able to back up RNG's bottom lane, just constantly shoving out.
Already off to a good start. This just puts Jin Jiao even further behind. He's 22 CS to 9, still in this lane, yet to go back to base. And this gives Uzi time to get back and pick up his items. A botched attempt again, Raz. Voidless really wanted to impact this lane, but they just fell too far behind too early.
Exactly, and the major threats here, Hecarim got 1 kill, 1 assist, a lot of gold going for him just for that counter gank. So he is going to be that much closer to his Trinity Force spike.
And I know Frosco was very outspoken about Hecarim being early, not being an early ganking jungle at the start of that last series that we had, but counter ganks going in favor of LXG, that's certainly something that Hecarim excels in.
Yeah, and that depends on the team identities. For EDG specifically, it makes a lot of sense to have Clear Love on a different champion. He is the focal point, and he wants to get things done early. Can't really do that if that's who you are on, unless if you're Intruder and decide to play Thunderlord's Hecarim. Keep going back to that because that's a little ridiculous.
Meanwhile, we check in with the mid lane. Baimi is on this Malzahar. When Malzahar first came into the LPL, traditionally did well against the Vladimir matchup.
Yeah.
But now he has been hit by quite a few nerfs since 6.15, so doesn't dominate as well. You can already see that from Xiaohu laning rather aggressively and trading pretty evenly with this Malzahar.
The thing is, if you look at that patch, you look at how it's like, oh, you know what, he does still retain his major strengths. But of course, his passive is incredibly strong. And it really does decide a lot of how the lane matchups and trades go. And so with Vladimir, usually, Malzahar is a pain in Vladimir's backside. This time around, he can actually look to trade, auto attack, get his passive off, and immediately Q.
We saw both top laners teleport into the bottom lane to start this game off. And it's already the Singe doing incredibly well on the top side. The man picked up a Dark Seal as his first item to go up against Amazing J. He is ready to snowball, Raz.
Well, I think we're all ready to snowball here. Ashe got double dagger for that bottom lane, so she's just going to constantly have that shove going. It's going to be really hard for Kog'Maw in this lane.
And she's found a Voidless, though, dodges out the Cocoon and resets the Gromp, denying that away from the Elise, who will eventually go back and try and pick it up for himself. Baimi has hit level 6 in this mid lane, so a big spike coming in for the Malzahar. So has Xiao, who will have the Hemoplague available.
And remember, I said that this patch is great for RNG because their style is that they constantly have all of these lanes shoving in, and it allows MLXG to do whatever he wants. Are you dirty farming, buddy?
Here he goes. Looper putting on the proxy farm at level 6 here.
Oh my god.
What year is it, Raz? Because I'm not quite sure what's going on anymore.
I'm just having awful flashbacks to solo queue games. I just don't want to see this happen. I feel really bad for Amazing J.
Well, he's going to be stuck underneath his turret and farming up there. Shen should do fine. Does have a good shield. Does have a great attack modifier to help him farm as well. Aime, though, still putting on the pressure in the bottom lane. Marta is the one that takes a lot of damage here. Tries to put down the Q as well as the W to heal himself back up and stop the pressure coming in from Jin Jiao and Road. Uzi trading very well on this Ashe, making sure that every time the Kog'Maw steps forward, he's under trouble. Xiaohu locked down. Here comes a Voidless looking to get the gank going on the mid lane, but here's MLXG charging forward. Runs over Baby, but a good Steam United comes in to get to the lane. Looper's here as well. He's ghosting through. Flings Amazing J back. Will get taunted down. But just a gank defuse in the mid lane. Neither team picks up a kill.
And that works really well for RNG on that one. They didn't have to blow anything, and they continue to just pressure on the map.
They're looking to try and take this red buff away from Aime.
Uh-oh.
Looper being a pest, fleeing the red buff backwards. Amazing J goes in, gets the taunt onto MLXG. He does pick up the red buff. Now Amazing J, as well as a Voilet's in trouble. MLXG charges in, gets a kill on towards the Elise. Looper,
not stopping.
He's hunting down this Shen. His flash just comes back up, gets him over the wall. He lives with a sliver of health, corrupting potion, not ticking enough to take him down.
This is just a snowballing mess right now. RNG are controlling this map every single time. Aime is trying to break something, break some tempo, get some breathing room. It's just not happening.
And they're 3,000 gold up just 8 minutes into the game. Shen even using the teleport to get towards the top side of the map because of how much pressure Looper has in this lane. Off to a very dominant start, Rads, and something we kind of expected from RNG.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, this is their style. They have every lane shoving, and you have to be afraid against that. Right now, they're playing a style or they're playing a composition that doesn't really give them that much room in the early game because they're just hoping for the later on portion of this game. And if you're going to be doing that, if you're going to be praying that your early game works out well for you, RNG will not really allow you that.
They certainly won't. And something that we didn't get to talk about before pick bans, Raz, is the fact that Aime, coming from the LPL last split, keeping most of the identity coming into this, is coming into the LPL. Strong early, great laning team. When you diffuse that away from them, they kind of look lost throughout the rest of the game.
Well, I mean, there's diffusing that. Oh, here we go.
He's going to get locked down. That's actually a flash coming over the wall from the Malzahar, trying to stop MLXG. Jaime put themselves on the scoreboard with a pick, looking for a full-on team fight. Jin Jiao incredibly low, has to run away. Road constantly being slowed by Uzi. Big arrow comes out. He'll be the sacrificial lamb as he picks up a return kill, a one-for-one trade, but they're not done yet. Xiao flashes forward. Gets the flash on the Jin Jiao and takes it down, turns him into the Acathian surprise, and RNG trade 2-for-1.
That turned out to be a 4v3, but they're just not stopping.
They're still chasing a Voilet's under his turret. Hemo plays on top of this Elise, goes back down, gets taken down, and suddenly Baby's in trouble. Looper's down here as well. It's a bloodbath, Raz, because a double kill comes out for the Vladimir.
How does Looper always get here faster?
He's singed, Raz. He's all over the map. You just can't count him out every single time there's a fight. It's 7-1. 10 minutes into this game, and RNG, they're ready to play, Raz.
It was an unclean start because MLXG did start the invade when he didn't have that bot lane pushing or prepared, but it didn't matter. That turned into a bait. The entire fight started. Sure, it was a 4v3, but the 3 strong RNG kept going. They had their cooldowns, they had the exhaust, and were able to clean up.
You can see Looper just straight away returns towards the top side of the map, picked up his Merc Threads as his first item, now going back to base. Interested to see what he's going to be picking up on his signature champion here, picking up the Singe, using his skin and going toe-to-toe against Amazing J.
He is holding on to a lot of gold because he's able to just stay in lane for a long time. I wonder if he's just going to go AP, but likely going tank, I think.
MLXG, though, looking for a gank. Amazing J doesn't have any summoner spells. It's going to be poisoned by the Singe. Will get taken down as cool guys don't even look at explosions. And look where Looper is, Raz. He goes straight back to proxy farming.
Didn't even give him the liberty of just chucking him over. They just burned him down.
Meanwhile, Mata has actually been caught out by a gank squad coming in for Aime in the bottom lane. Voilet's gets a kill back for his team. Uzi still wants to aggressively trade as they do have the Vladimir rotating around the back. And China Crystal Arrow lands. Road gets locked down. Here's Xiao, who goes into his pool. Gonna try and take them down. Good Stand United coming out on top of Road just to keep him alive. There's 5 members of Aime in this bottom lane. They can't even trade against Xiaohu and Uzi.
The worst thing about that, even though that was technically a good Stand United to save his team, he lost a lot of waves for that one. And on top of that, already, Singed is already far, far ahead. And if you're losing waves because the bottom lane is having a bit of trouble, then you're just going further and further behind.
It certainly is. You can see Looper's gone straight for his needlessly large Rog. Probably going to be picking up the Rylai's Crystal Scepter as his first item in this game. He's been a monster in the Singe, a pick we never see anymore, Raz, and he's brought it out in the first game of the semi-finals. Already a pleasure to watch it.
Once a Singe player, always a Singe player.
Oh, goodness. Somewhere, Dyrus would be incredibly proud about this. He'd be happy.
But yeah, that was a great response by Aime to be able to go to that bottom lane because they knew that topside dive happened. But of course, the Vladimir and Xiaohu was able to just come in and just diffuse the situation entirely. They needed the Shen to be able to save themselves for that play. But in the end of the day, they do get Mata.
Master misplaces the, the pink ward in the brush, immediately puts the second one down to compensate for his mistakes.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
But already a 5,000 gold lead going in favor of RNG. Just 13 minutes into this match. We said it could be very snowbally either way, and it's definitely going in RNG's favor as we would expect it to. They're the clear favorites, being the spring champions. And they're trying to hold on, Raz, but it's going to take them a miracle to try and even put up a fight against this team. As Baimy's the next target of choice, will get locked down by MLXG. Teleport coming into the lane, but it doesn't matter because it has to be cancelled because MLXG will take down Baimy.
That was just poor communication coming out of that one.
China Crystal Arrow lands, and Voidless can't repel in time. Gets locked down by Mata, has to repel. Uzi's right there though, slows him down with the arrows, gets the kill, and another pick after pick coming out for RNG.
They've lost full control of the map, and it just came down to the point that, especially since they're just not ending.
They're trying to trade though. MLSG taking a lot of damage from Jin Jiao, who's trying to go back and forth, but the Hemo play comes out from Xiaohu. Looper's down here once again. Uzi's on top of this Kog'Maw. He tries to retreat under his turret.
That tower won't save you.
It's so low. Uzi gets the kill, goes on the killing spree, and they will take down his support buddy Road as well. 12-2 in terms of kills.
Can we get a remake? Can anyone remake this game? 14 minutes into the game, 12-2, massive 10k gold advantage. Don't know how you can recover off that one.
Looks like they're trying to go for the fastest game in the LPL, Raz, because they are not letting go of any pressure here.
It just comes down to the fact that they're the underdogs in this one. And sure, they've done exceptionally well as a new team coming into the LPL. They were able to take down the hyped up Snake. We even had a documentary about SOFM showing, but it just did not work out well for them. This new team just had so much strength coming in, but of course you're going up against RNG. And they just don't have good memories about facing them. So this is going to be a bit of a slaughter.
RNG did drop a couple of the games in the second round of group stages, but they bounced back nice and strong. Were able to take wins off of LGD, took down IMA in their final match as well. Head into this one as the #1 seed from their group, and still looking strong again. Looking like they want to try and bring the fight to EDG in the grand finals, especially if they can keep up this performance. EDG would have to be looking on terrified, even if this is a match against IMA, which they are expected to win. We saw in the mid lane there, arrow being used by Uzi. Makes Baimy blow the flash to try and get back to safety.
Yeah, you can tell there's an added fire for RNG, knowing that they're going up against or wanting to go up against that EDG lineup once again.
Well, we see Looper, he's picked up his Rylai's Crystal Scepter on the Singe in the top lane, and his partner, MLXG, is going for a Maw of Mount Mortius as the first item on a Hecarim. Interesting choice for MLXG. But they're going to use this time and the advantage they currently hold to take down the Mountain Dragon right off the bat. Marta and MXG will take this one down with ease.
The fact that they were able to speed up this game to this extent up against the Kog'Maw composition, it's to say the least, it's an uphill battle for IMA.
It certainly is, as Looper just flings Amazing J over his shoulders and shoves the wave straight in towards the top lane in the turret. Jin Jiao now rotating towards the middle of the map to make sure that it will be Malzahar going up against Xiaohu in this bottom lane. Uzi is waiting in the wings, trying to see if he can get an arrow down onto any member on the side of IMA, get a good pick going for their team. Mid lane inner turret seems like the objective of choice for RNG, the one they want to go for, but they've locked down Mata. In goes MLXG. Mata will fall. Good pick for IMA, but they're losing everyone left, right, and center. Jin Jiao's flung back into the team. Amazing J stand united into the fight, but goes down. A triple kill for Looper. He picks up the quadra kill on his Singe, and RNG just look absolutely unstoppable.
Bringing it back in style. It didn't even matter that Uzi was just tanking down the tower. They had so much damage, so much ability to just tank through the entire lineup of IMA that will they even get to the 20-minute point? Will IMA be able to actually look to surrender?
It looks like the situation's dire for them because it's a 13,000 gold lead, 14,000 now in favor of RNG. They're not letting go of any pressure, Raz. Situation's dire for IMA. They're going to have to pull up a miracle if they want to take game one.
Yeah, but we've seen miracles, 100%. We've seen it happen.
Saw one today.
Exactly. We've seen a lot of things happen in the LPL. Anything can happen, especially since right now the only thing IMA can really work towards, look to try and do, is either look towards their pick. You've got Elise, you have Braum and Kog'Maw, so anyone who is a little bit too far forward, we've seen MLX do that. MLX do that once this game. Didn't work out well for IMA, but you have that possibility where you can get a pick on anyone on that team. Or you can go for that, hopefully, Baron run.
Well,
we've seen WE do that.
Now they're going towards the top side of the map, looking to try and take down a red buff for themselves. There's still a top lane inner turret to take. Loop is actually in the bottom lane, looking to try and go toe-to-toe against Bamey. Bamey's going to run. That's a big cinch. MLXG does get locked down, though. The Kog'Maw is spraying and praying as the enchanted Crystal Arrow gets dodged by the repel.
Oh, he's dead. Well,
that's not great.
If there's one champion that is 100% going to kill that Malzahar, it's a Singed.
I mean, certainly as Loop is now going into the base, he thinks that this is his house. He's going to now start to farm and take down this inhibitor.
He's walking through those turrets with so much confidence, it actually just feels like it's his home.
He's just walked through the base of IMA to get towards the top side of the map. And they're now pushing on towards the inhibitor as the second open inhibitor of the game, looking to take down even more turrets. They've broken the base. The situation is dire for IMA. They couldn't even get the kill on towards MLXG when they found him face-checking into a brush, got the cocoon down, and Jin Zhao is just spraying and praying. This is a one-sided affair at the moment. The second inhibitor will fall as well.
So we have double Spear Visage coming in, both Singed and Vladimir. Spear Visage and Rylai's Crystal Scepter. You better believe that Vlad will be building that later on as well. So that's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage mitigation that Elise and Malzahar will not be doing. That just means that Kog'Maw has to do so much more. And he's not even has 2-item spike.
And Kog'Maw does hybrid damage, has lots of magic damage coming out from his on-hit effect items, as well as his Bio-Arcane Barrage, as RNG, throw the arrow again. Bamey forced to flash up his passive. Was a millisecond away from coming off of cooldown, and now they're just pushing towards this mid lane inhibitor turret. Here comes Looper, teleporting in from the base. MLXG wants to try and run in as well. Last inhibitor turret for IMA falls, and they've already lost 2 inhibitors of Raz, and we're just approaching 20 minutes in this game.
Now, they better at least play it through. So what it comes down to is, yeah, exactly. 2-item spike on Kog'Maw. Hopefully going to be able to reach that point. Oh, here we go.
Fine MLXG with the cocoon, but Avoidless can't take him down. And that MLXG was below half health.
We have a triple QSS on RNG. The one thing that I said that they needed to do, look for a pick. Anyone, right? You have Braum, you have Elise. Look to pick anyone with Malzahar ulti perhaps. Can't even do that anymore. You actually have to do that multiple times on one person to get that going for you. Well, this is IMA. You just have to use as much time as possible to now think about the next game, because you definitely have to go towards another direction in your draft and your mindset.
16,000 gold down 20 minutes into the match. A huge deficit for any team. I mean, we saw G5 back from 14,000 gold down, but that was at 40 minutes into a match. This is a 20-minute game, Raz. And the situation is just not going in IMA's favor. RNG immediately say, you know what, we can stand up Baron while Looper farms inside of your base.
Well, yeah, Looper can get out of any situation, especially with that QSS. So as they're doing this, Baron, the IMA has to worry about the minions first and then the Baron later. But that just means that they can't worry about the Baron. They can't get towards it.
There goes the Baron. MLG picks it up for his team. RNG looking in a good position to end this game. They start Bamey pushing on the bottom side of the map, trying to push out the wave as far as possible before the siege comes in from RNG. They don't care, though. They just march straight towards the mid lane. They've got Hakrim going down to deal with that wave, and Looper still just looking to farm inside of their base, threatening them every single time.
Remember, this is just one of possibly 5 games. If you're RNG, a team that's pretty cocky for the right reasons. They are good players, right? But cockiness can bite you. You're getting towards this game. Sure, you're going into game 2. You have to say, okay, we'll go into a different mindset. You definitely can't pick Singed again because the enemy team now knows that you're willing to play Singed.
Still, for a game 1 victory this quick, looking great from RNG. They're still playing very clinically, closing out the game where they can. They're not using their cockiness over aggressively here because they're just making sure they push through against IMA, take down all the structures and clinically end the game. They've got the Baron buff, and now IMA have to put up a last stand, but it's going to be futile, it seems, because RNG are just so strong. Marching on towards the Nexus turrets. And here they go. They're looking for that final team fight. Bamey just can't quite find anyone to lock down. There's 4 members of IMA just clumped up, and the Hemo play gets popped onto 3. Looper runs into the back lines, forces them away from the Nexus turrets. The first one falls, the second one goes down. MLSG runs in and finds a Voiless. He has to repel, but comes down and dies. 2 kills come out from RNG already. The Nexus turrets are taking damage. Jin Zhao has to retreat. Amazing J has to run away. And RNG get a very decisive game, 1 victory over IMA.
Decisive is I wish there's another synonym for that word. That just feels like, I guess a stomp is a good enough one. A GG at 20 perhaps, because that was embarrassing, especially if you're IMA going into, you want to prove yourself as a team. You thought you did that, taking down Snake, and now you come into this game in front of a massive audience, and this is what the showing that comes out of it.
Still, however, it is only game number 1. I may still have a best of 5 series to try and take it to RNG, but that was a whitewash of game 1, Raz. It was a one-sided affair, and I may really have to step up moving into the rest of this series because this was a catastrophe.
It really was, and this was the only opening that this team ever saw. Being able to punish MLXG in his over-aggression, but guess what? His over-aggression came with the rest of his team collapsing in on you. Jin Zhao just did not have a good game, especially since this composition was centered around him. And that 1 win condition was getting to a point where he would at least have 2 items. Still, mid-game portion, he didn't get to that.
Still not out for IMA, though. They still have a series on their hands. They can still try and fight back against RNG. RNG, though, hats off to them because this was a one-sided victory for them. They looked so strong and they cleaned out the game clinically. They didn't push over aggressively. They didn't lose any advantage. They didn't get picked off time and time again. They made sure they stuck to their strategy, finished the game. And it was just fun to watch Looper play Singe again, Raz.
Yeah. I mean, this is the best kind of RNG that we see, right? We see a lot of images of RNG. One image is an RNG that plays incredibly aggressively, don't really have a plan in what you want to do. And so what they end up doing is just run at you 1-for-1, and you're like, this team this is a disaster. And then you see this kind of RNG. We saw this when it was RNG going up against LGD, when LGD's hopes at playoffs were just completely trashed. And when they got to game 3, they just deleted them from the map from the very beginning.
And that's exactly what RNG have been able to do here in game number 1 against IMA. We have to go into a very quick break, but we're back to see if IMA can fight back.